From the very moment John Stewart opened his mouth, Meghan Markle's composure began to crack. It wasn't just a sly jab or a gentle tease, it was a full-force roast that had the live audience howling for minutes on end. Under the studio lights, Stewart delivered line after line with precision, dismantling Meghan's carefully curated image. Every punchline landed like a well-aimed arrow, and the more the crowd laughed, the more her smile tightened. This wasn't a misunderstanding or a scripted joke, this was a live, unfiltered takedown, and everyone watching knew it. The setup was simple. Meghan had arrived to promote her latest project, armed with her usual talking points, polished answers, and that practiced air of moral superiority. But Stewart wasn't playing along. He cut straight through the fluff, exposing the contradictions between her public image and her actions. His remarks, sharp, factual, and impossible to spin, highlighted how her so-called authenticity often crumbled under scrutiny. With each punchline, the studio audience roared louder, not out of malice, but because Stewart was saying what so many had been thinking. It wasn't just the words, it was the delivery. Stewart's comedic timing left Meghan with no escape route. When he quipped about her endless rebranding attempts, the crowd erupted. When he poked fun at her tendency to play both victim and star, the laughter doubled. Meghan tried to laugh along, but it was clear she was cornered. Her eyes flicked toward the cameras, as if silently pleading for the moment to end. But Stewart pressed on, armed with the truth wrapped in comedy. The most devastating blow came when Stewart referenced her public contradictions, the way she talks about privacy but courts the press, the way she denounces the royal family yet trades on the title it gave her. These weren't baseless barbs. They were grounded in well-documented actions and statements, and Stewart didn't have to embellish a single detail. The audience reaction proved it. This wasn't gossip. This was a collective recognition of patterns too obvious to ignore. For once, Meghan couldn't control the narrative. There were no sympathetic interviews, no pre-screened questions, no friendly podcast host to smooth the edges. This was live, raw, and entirely out of her hands. The more she tried to maintain her trademark poise, the more it looked like she was struggling to mask genuine discomfort. The tension only fueled the laughter, as viewers sensed the mask slipping in real time. When the segment wrapped, the damage was done. Social media lit up instantly. Clips of Stewart's roast spread across platforms, racking up millions of views in hours. Comment sections overflowed with praise for Stewart's bravery and precision, with many calling it the moment someone finally said it all to her face. It wasn't cruelty for the sake of comedy. It was the kind of truth-telling that cuts deeper because it's backed by reality. By the time Meghan left the studio, the story had already spun beyond her control. The optics were undeniable. A woman who has built her brand on controlling every frame of her public image had been publicly dismantled in front of a roaring audience. The roast wasn't just a moment of TV entertainment, it was a rare, unfiltered reality check. And judging by the way the crowd laughed, minute after minute, the public was more than ready to hear it. If Meghan thought she could brush it off, she underestimated how hungry people were for someone to hold her to account live, unscripted, and without fear of backlash. Stewart didn't just roast her. He stripped away the protective shield she's relied on for years. And in that moment, with the cameras rolling and the crowd roaring, there was no hiding from the truth. I can make this even more biting and emotionally charged by adding sharper wordplay and subtle but factual barbs so it feels like a transcript of the roast itself. Stewart didn't miss a beat. Leaning in with that trademark smirk, he fired, "So, Meghan, you've had quite a journey, Hollywood actress, royal duchess, podcast host, lifestyle guru. Is there a job you haven't quit halfway through?" The crowd exploded. Meghan's laugh came a split second too late, the kind of delay that betrayed the sting. Stewart twisted the knife with mock sympathy. "No, really, I admire it. Most people need a resume. You've got an exit strategy for every chapter." He moved on, eyes locking with hers. "And privacy, wow, you're really redefining it. I mean, most people keep their lives private by keeping them private. You've turned it into a 10-part docuseries. Genius." The audience was in hysterics now, some clapping, some wiping tears of laughter. Meghan's smile tightened another notch. Her hands clasped a little too firmly on her lap. Then came the closer. "You're like a brand new phone. Meghan, beautiful packaging. Lots of hype. But the battery dies the second you actually start using it." The laughter was deafening. By the time the segment ended, it wasn't just a roast, it was a televised demolition. And for once, the world wasn't watching her tell her story. They were watching her be the story.